What's happening, Jess?
Not much. How are you, Colin?
Great.
Great.
I don't think we've met. Have we met yet, Jessica?
No,
I don't think so. I'm Rebecca.
I am Jessica. I have a fourth grader, Rosie.
Oh, nice to meet you. And you guys are hosting.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And I have a sixth grader at Hidden River. So.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. How's sixth grade been?
It's been really good for Frankie. I was telling Colin at the bus stop today, he's done really well. He likes school. He likes the days where he has Fayed and gym or Fayed and orchestra better than the days he doesn't, but it's been going very well for him.
Oh, that's a huge relief. It feels
Do
like
you have one headed to sixth grade?
Not yet. My oldest is in third grade this year, but it's going by fast.
It is.
All of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness. So you guys are neighbors?
We are.
Oh, cool.
Not like next door neighbors, but like down the block and around the corner kind of neighbors. Yeah.
Very nice.
Bus stop corners is close enough, right?
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When we moved over here, I was like at our old house, and my kids were the only kids at the bus stop. And then we moved here and there were like 6 kids. It's like,
that's amazing. I know, it feels so like our kids have just started getting into like playing with the neighborhood kids, and now it's just like a big pack, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter there's so many little girls around Rosie's age, and it is just like, yeah, there's a pack. Frankie, my son, who's not quite as much, but
it's the opposite in our neighborhood. There's tons of boys, and we have 3 boys and Elizabeth, and so there's a lot of boys all the time. And so I'm like, who has it? I'm like finding the girl, like the one girl 3 or 4 houses down, and I'm like, she could come over anytime. Oh, hey, Julie.
Hello.
Julie, do you think it rained? I didn't see. I didn't dare look at the sidewalks this morning at school. I couldn't tell. It's like, oh.
My kids take the bus, but could you guys see it? The chalk?
I didn't look. I thought of it on the way there. Because I was like, these sidewalks look a little wet. But one of Bethy's teacher sent me an email and said, thank you for the unicorn drawing. So I was like, okay, that's good. There's hope. And she found the unicorn. Hey, Christoph.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Jessica Burns, do you go by Jess?
Jessica.
You go by Jessica.
Yeah.
Both go by Jessica.
I go by Jess or Jessica, but not Jessie. Only my grandma was allowed that.
Grandma is allowed anything.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the only one.
Yeah. Hey, Malia.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Malia was at school, like cleaning out the PTO storage today. Go, Malia.
We didn't so much clean it out as we found ourselves under some mountains of PTO goodies, but yeah, there's a lot in there, which is good because we can use it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Hi, Madame Bossard.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Comment ça va?
Outside.
I know.
Ça va bien.
Finally. Well, everyone's still going to bed, so I like to go outside so I can't hear the crying.
That was smart.
You know how that goes.
Yeah. I got the soccer hours mixed up tonight, and I thought Darren
Uh-oh.
was gonna be home at like 7:15, and instead it went till 8. So my mom is here, and I don't hear a sound because grandma. But yeah, I was like, what?
You're not, are you sleep training? Can I ask?
Not yet, but in a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
we
luck.
will. We have. Yeah, I know. I don't even want to say this, but this baby has been doing better than some of the others that I've had. So he's been giving a few stretches. So we have a favorite child.
I will not tell them that at school.
Yeah, you don't have to mention that. What else is here? Hi, Anne. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. And Wedgie.
Bonjour,
Hello.
Madame Friedrich et la famille.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour,
Oh,
Alexandre.
thanks, Friedrich. Okay, now I recognize you.
Tu dis bonjour?
Oh my gosh. The porter threw me off.
Yeah, it's the same person. Madame
Amazing.
Friedrich.
It's good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, good to see you too.
All right. Well, it is a little after 8.
Rebecca, do you want me to get started or do you want me to wait
Um,
to welcome folks in?
Well, I was just wondering the same thing. I mean, usually I think we could go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And we'll probably just join in as we go.
Okay, and I see I have sharing rights, which is wonderful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen
Perfect.
and begin at the right slide. Let's see here. All right. Rebecca, can you see my screen okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It's great.
Okay, so I will I'll go ahead and get started. And if you have any questions, if we can just wait until the very end, hopefully it will make sense. It seems to be pretty straightforward. Towards the end, it gets a little more complicated. So if you can just please hold off on questions until the end, and then we can go through questions afterwards. To preface it, there are not any major changes enrollment wise. We go off of a formula that's utilized district wide. The district in general has taken a little bit of a setback in enrollment, not huge, not as bad as USPAS, but there is still a bit of decline district wide. We saw a bit as well, but it's not immense enough to affect the entire building in substantial ways. So that's good. And as you know, we have the retention and recruitment council that we just kicked off last week. So I'm confident we'll keep up with a retention and recruitment, and that will help 24-25. All right, so looking at this, just I like to, and this is how we did it in the building too, but just so you know, this is current year, and then let me move this over. This is current year 22-23, obviously, and then this is the change. So you still get one principal, you still get one clerk. As you know, we've been really lucky. Madame Blomgren came back to us. I potentially begged her a lot this past summer, and we've been fortunate for her to come back, and she has done live training for Alan, who is doing really well, and that's a really big thing for us. So we're really grateful to her. We got 0.5 clerk money. This is principal discretion, and what I did is I took that bucket of money and essentially I moved it over to our general fund. And what that means for a school is I'm essentially saying I don't want to pay a person and then another person for halftime. We have Alan, who is strong, who will continue to grow and has Chris's support, and will continue to have Madame Blomgren's support next year as well, part-time for her. But that money will be taken and utilized for supplies. because otherwise our supply budget was not very large. So I have taken that money and put it into the general bucket. Health, as you know, we have a nurse, we have a health assistant. The nurse is with us part-time. The health assistant is with us daily all the time. That remains. You'll see a change in here. What that means, it's not necessarily due to enrollment decline. It's strictly because this is based off of kids that receive services for multilingual education. And we have a lot of kids that are fortunate to speak more than 2 languages at home. And depending on their testing, they either get MLL services or they don't. And that's what that decline came from. It's because some of them have exited or some of them don't need it any longer. Okay, and that's based off of data for testing. So it's not necessarily something negative. It just means that not all of our kiddos need the services anymore, and that is the goal. So it's something positive. Over here, speech language pathologist, we have an Antreon, as you know, we'll continue to have her. It's going to be the same hours that we have her right now. This one, specific learning disability, it's our special education teacher, and we remain with 1.0, which is great. There was some fear that we might have to have a cut, but we will be at 1.0, which is a really good thing. Special education teaching assistant, that is something new. The 0.75 just means a full-time, it's full-time SPED TA. And that is a TA that is strictly tied to kids that have an IEP, and it's dedicated to them. The early childhood pre-K TA, similar. It's only dedicated to early childhood and their halftime. And this is something new and it's great. We'll still continue to have kind of, as you know, right now we have the 2 classrooms in pre-K. They're mandated to have a second person at all time. So that will stick. And we're going to get another 0.5 early childhood pre-K TA. So that would be 3 people total, 1 teacher and 2 TAs. Student support. So 1 counselor, 1 intervention specialist. The new thing is our social worker is going up in hours, which is great because I will tell you it was a struggle this year to hire someone that was 0.2. We essentially didn't get anyone until late into the year, and then that's a really difficult number to fulfill. So the 0.5 will be wonderful. It essentially means that they're halftime. And then they're halftime with us and halftime with another elementary that's nearby. So it's a really good thing for us. And they work with all kids, but they will be mainly with kiddos with IEPs. So library, this one is tricky and I don't have a specific. We did not get it in the budget this year. What was done is essentially we could have utilized one of our TAs in their hours, or we could have the district support, and we got the district support. So for next year, we might get the same, or we might not. The hope right now is that we do get the same. Most likely we will, but I have not heard a definitive of this. Obviously, I'm advocating for it. If not, I'll have to think about a plan B because we do need the media to continue. The media center needs to continue operating, obviously. But I am optimistic that we will keep her and the same person too. All right, pre-K, it stays the same. 2 teachers, 2 teaching assistants, specialist for this year, for next year, and it will be the same specialist. So we have STEMA, Jim, art, and science. Same with the classroom teachers, 12 classroom teachers this year, 12 classroom teachers next year. Teaching assistants, this is where we took a hit. That is directly tied to the enrollment. The enrollment went down by about 30. Now, that is not a number that is a clean cut number. So do know it's just a projection, but because of the projection, we get a monetary outcome. And with that, we only got 3 teaching assistants instead of 4. We will have interns, however, again, and that helps a ton for various reasons, obviously, right? We love our interns and they're highly appreciated, and we will have 5. It's kind of multifaceted reasoning. We weren't able to secure families as fast as we wanted to, and our hope is to go through a different agency as well, with our goal of having a intern of color. We're really hopeful to diversify the intern force. So there's still potential for a 6th one, and hopefully it will be an intern of color, because as we know, it's important for kids to see themselves and their adults in the classrooms. So 5 for right now. Projected enrollment, and this is kind of where the money comes in, right? And what the money is, the FTEs, which is the full-time employees. So K, I'm not gonna read to you. You can kind of take a look at that, but K through 5th. Just take a few moments to look at it. If it doesn't make a lot of sense, what it means is, depending on the total per grade level, we make sections. So kindergarten is pretty clear, right? It's 3 sections, because you want to be at about 22-ish, and that's exactly where it's at. And we were at about that this year. Now, 1st grade is where it gets tricky, because it's really high. Yet it's not high enough for 3 sections necessarily. And I'll present the model that we were going to go with. So 52, essentially, you could split easily into 2 sections. My goal is to really strengthen the programming and get 3, 3, 3, so they can matriculate, right? So the goal is to get 3 kindergarten sections, 3 1st grade sections. 2nd is not high enough, so it'll be 2. 3rd is going to be 2. And I know it might be confusing, because 2nd is 43, so that's obviously higher than 38, but it is a district rule that we will no longer have a split up until 3rd. With that, 3rd cannot be a split between 3, 4 or 2, 3. So 3rd is its own. So this is a 2 section. It's 2 3rd grade classrooms. 4th is going to be 1 classroom. 5th is going to be 1 classroom. The way to go about that, because the numbers are higher, is departments. So we voted, it's been a process, and leadership was really amazing and involved in this process. And we looked at every scenario possible to see what's best for kids, because the way that, and this is tied to that, so let me finish up here. The way that this was given to me in the budget is 4 and 5 were together, and there was a split yet again. The way to get around a split is to get a department. So what I did instead is I took this, which is essentially a teacher, and WIN remains. That's different. We still have our WIN teacher. But this new role is immersion and magnet teacher. And we're going to call it a content coach, but it's a teacher for our purposes. And this is where they will push in and teach. And by push in, I mean department. The goal is to have them break up this group, because it's higher, into 2. So essentially what's going to happen is you will have 2 classrooms, one that is about 17, 18, and then one that's about, and I can't do math right now, 17, 18. So the numbers will be really good for social emotional learning, for community building, and for academic, because they're not high, yet you have 2 teachers that are highly specializing in ELA, FLA, so English language arts, French language arts, social studies, and then the other one in mathematics. And the classes will slow flip. 4th grade, we may or may not do that. What usually happens is you lose about 3-ish. And if you 2 to 3 at the uppers. So if you lose that, then I will just keep it as 1 and have a support staff in there. And that's kind of this again, right? So this is our support. So one WIN teacher, one immersion magnet teacher, which is, you could look at it as academic support. It just has a new fancy name. And that is it. I will take this away now. And I can open it back up when folks need time to reflect and ask questions. I know it was a lot. And I can even share it in here if that would help people. So I'm opening it up to you all. Questions, comments, feedback. It's a lot. No way. There has to be questions. Yes, I see a hand up.
Okay, my question was just to clarify, when you said MLL, is that the same like the ELL or one of those?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Great question. I apologize. It is, so EL is not correct because not all of our kids have English as a second language. So we're trying to move away from that naming because a lot of our kids are trilingual, right? So it's multilingual learners, and that's why it's MLL. So it's the exact same thing as the EL teacher, but the name of it is MLL.
Thank
Just so we can honor and acknowledge families that speak more than two families, more than two languages. So it's multilingual learner.
Can you talk a little bit more about the 5th grade situation? It sounds very much like there are going to be 2 functioning classrooms, but I think some of the language that allows that to happen is a little bit maybe district.
Yeah. So, okay, yes, thank you for that. Like I said, it's been a process. It's been an experience. The goal for me was to unsplit the split, because as you know, we had a split this year. And it has benefits, but it's also difficult, right? And we have to be realistic with this. There is no way for me to sugarcoat this. The only way for me to unsplit a split when I'm given a 1.0 FTE, which is an extra staff member, and that's what we had. It's really clear in the manual that they give us, which is a principal budget manual, you cannot utilize that for a classroom. You're not allowed to open up a section. You can't do it. So what I propose is fine. On paper, can it be classroom teacher, 37 kids? In reality, you take the department teacher and you take the 37 kids and you flip-flop them. So that's exactly it. If you have a child in 5th grade, essentially your child will be with a group of 16, 17 friends all day long, all the time. And they will have ELA, FLA with a teacher. And then they're going to go to the other classroom, and that's going to be their mathematics space. So they're going to have 2 classrooms, but they will always remain with the same cohort of friends. Because socially and emotionally, we know that's best for kids, right? It's the same group, the same age. That's their core structure, their class. But the class as a group is flip-flopping. So think of it, math classroom, language classroom. And kiddos just move back and forth. And it's very similar to what they do right now, because our teachers are so awesome that they're almost like departments where they really flip-flop, and that allows for their expertise to grow because they really hyper focus on a content. So they already do parts of it, so it's not going to be anything that is completely different. Does that kind of answer it? The other option was to keep the split. So then you split 4-5. That was the other option.
So the content, the department content is strictly mathematics, or where do like the social studies come in? Is that in like that mathematics space or?
Great question. Thank you. No, it usually sticks with the language arts, because a lot of the units, it's actually, so we have to have allocations too, which is another piece of this puzzle. Like we start 100 to 0 meaning 100 French to 0 English in the lower grades, right? And then we move to 80-20, then we go to 70-30, and then we go to 60-40. In 5th grade, it's 40-60. So with that, you have to go off of you have to follow that because that's what's best for kids in terms of immersion. And this is based off of research. And it's given to me from the Office of Teaching and Learning. So it's a district wide initiative. So then what happens is you have to do the language arts alongside with social studies, and then you intermove it into the content area. For example, they just did a unit on pollution. So that has a lot of social study components in it, but they also tied that to writing. So they're not really, don't think of them as like mutually exclusive or sorry, the different parts are not different parts. So we need to have our language teacher should be the one that's also teaching social studies because that's best practice. You have to have the two together. And then mathematics is its sole thing. And the other reason for that is math in 5th grade, we teach in English. And as you know, we're third in the district in math performance, which is amazing. Out of all the schools, we're number 3. And parts of that is because we do teach math and English at that point, because our kids are now proficient in French. And at this point, we are preparing for that bridge to middle school, and it shows in the testing. So they have already the French proficiency in mathematics, but now we're giving them the English very strongly. So that teacher will also have to do math and English solely. Does that make sense? Do you have any other questions on that? Anyone?
I come back to the
Yes.
3rd grade. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Fogan.
Yes, I want to just come back to the 3rd grade again. So if I understood, the first 2 classes would be 2 classes. Could you just repeat that 3rd grade again one more time, please?
I'm sorry, Fogang, do you mean the numbers for it?
Yeah, so the 38 total or thereabouts, whether you were going to have it in 2 classes or 1 is more.
Yes, yep, thank you. 3rd grade will be in 2. It has to be in 2 because the district decided from K to 3, you are not allowed to split.
Okay.
They wanted us to split at 4-5, and that's allowed throughout the district. But K3, they've come out and they're really strong on this. We're not splitting. And actually it's a good thing for us, because what we want to do in order for us to get more enrollment and to get more fund, which gives us more funding, is again, we want to grow at the bottom at the foundation, and you want to get to 3. And now with 3rd grade, instead of having 1, we're going to have 2. So that makes it easier for us to get to 3 later on.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that.
Madame Bossard, can you tell us more about 1st grade? So they're going to be 2 classes, and they're going to be, I forgot the number, but 28 or so per class. So what will be the support for the teachers with a big class like that?
It will actually, Christophe, it will be 3. Because
3
remember that,
classes.
yep, the district
okay.
gave us 2. They gave us 2 classes and they gave us a split. What I did is, instead of keeping the split, in a split, the way it's given to you in a budget is a 0.5 FT full-time employee and a 0.5 full-time employee. And then you have to advocate for what's best for your building. And sometimes they'll listen, sometimes they don't. They were very receptive this year. And what I said to them is, I want to departmentalize at the 5th grade level because I have the staff that are capable, and I'd rather have kids not split. So then I took the 0.5 and the 0.5, I made a 1, and I added a 3rd section of 1st grade.
Okay.
27, 28 kids in 1st grade in an immersion setting is allowed, but it's not best practice.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, because what you really want to do at the younger grades, you want to strengthen their language. So when they move up, it's easier and easier, right, with the language component. In order for them to become biliterate, you really need to strengthen K1 and 2. And the other part of that is, you know, we need to get more kids. We need to grow and continue to grow, retain and grow. And you do that by strengthening the foundation. And that is simple addition of sections. And with that, we need to really try to gain a little bit more of first grade enrollment so we can get the sections to about 20.
Okay.
Because that will matter for next year's projection in terms of money. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Colin.
First of all, thank you very much for presenting this and also for all the work you've done and advocating
Colin.
for the school and the students. I just had a question about fourth grade. You were talking about if we lose 3 to 4 students, then it will go to just one classroom. So I have 2 questions to that. If it goes to that, will there be a dedicated TA to cover a large classroom? And second, what will happen to the second departmental teacher in that case if we lose those students?
Yep, great question. So we still keep that teacher. And it's essentially WIN. So that's literacy. So WIN is something that we unfortunately as a district will most likely lose in 24-25. And that is due to Envision funding. So Envision has an expiration date and it's the end of next year. So up until next year, we have that staff member and we can essentially take them and keep them, right? One way or another. Bonjour, bonsoir. And then we can utilize them for what's best practice and what's needed for kids. So the other piece of that is, like you said, we'll keep the one classroom. Most likely we'll end up at 28, 29, which is completely fine for a classroom. It's very normal for the upper grades. But I have a teaching assistant that's really strong and knows that content well, and that's where they'll stick. I cannot say that they'll be there 100% of the day, but they will be there for the instructional pieces, which is a lot of the day, obviously, but it's in those really big core lessons. And to be really transparent, I don't know exactly what that will look like yet. What I do know is that I am dedicating a TA in there and an intern. So, you know, we have 5. We'll still make sure that there's an intern in there all day and a stronger one. Yep. And they'll
Thank you.
get they'll get other support from different academic support pieces. I see that. Sorry, does that answer the question, Colin?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And do you know things sometimes change in the last minute? Our numbers are pretty good in terms of not having to take a huge change at the very end. But I want to put that out there that sometimes there is changes at the very end, and I always do what's best for kids. Okay. I see a chat comment here, and then I see Madame Chofa and Madame Scott. Okay, with regards to the 5th grade, will the current 5th grade teachers be continuing as 5th grade teacher? Sorry, my screen is not up. Linda, I should have said this in the beginning. I appreciate all of our teachers, and I cannot I cannot answer those questions yet. And that's because it's staffing and it can be confidential. What I can tell you is we have awesome teachers and they want to continue working with their awesome kids. I can tell you that much. But I do want to preserve confidentiality for that at this time. Because again, other things do happen throughout summer, and sometimes in my 12 years in education, myself included as a teacher, sometimes I'll say, you know what, I've taught 2nd grade my entire life and I am so done. I want to try 5th. I want to be able to use my sarcasm. It's time. So there is a switch, right? And if your principal thinks, okay, they have the skill set, this is what they need as a professional, it could happen at the end of the summer, right? So I don't want to give you names and I do want to preserve their confidentiality, but all of our awesome teachers want to work with our awesome kids. Madame Scott. Erica, do you hear me? Okay, Mishu, you want to go ahead? And then I see Julie.
Hello, Madame Sophia. Thank you so much for your
Bonjour,
work.
bonsoir.
Bonjour. Bonsoir. I joined the meeting late, so I would like to know if you can repeat a little bit about fourth grade. How many fourth grade are we gonna have next year, please?
Yes, so projected enrollment is 32. Usually with the projection, you take a hit about 3-ish at the upper grades. So it will be a normal class size and they'll get support and they'll have a TA that's highly skilled. And as you know, our TAs are either native French speakers or near native French speakers, and they have a really good skill set. So essentially it will be a TA that provides the academic support, and they do small groups and all of those wonderful things, but it will be one class.
Okay, thank you.
Erica. Oh, okay, Julie.
Hi, thanks for the presentation.
Yes.
I'm wondering, on that projected enrollment, is that matching what you've gotten back so far from the current families saying that they're going to be staying at LNFI, or is that just based on the district's calculations?
That is a great question. And I smile because when I was advocating for just various things at the district, I kept on saying, well, the reality is we're actually going to have higher enrollment than this because we're getting our intent to return forms and they're all yeses. We have obviously a few, people have lives and things happen, but a lot of the actual one seems higher, but I have to abide by the projected because that's what dictates the money. So there's a world in which we'll have higher numbers. And the trend is usually it stays in the foundational and the primary. So in that K2 section. So could it be exactly it's 264 as our total? Potentially. Could it be 260? Potentially. But a lot of the times it ends up being higher. And that is usually again at the foundation, at the K2.
That's great news to hear that a lot of people are coming back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I am very happy about that too. And as you know, we everybody is invited. We're doing the retention and recruitment council, and we just started. So if anyone wants to join, we would love to have you. And we'll grow. Remember, it's been a tough few years with COVID. We're still feeling the effects, and this is still a national happening, right? We have 5 million families choosing to homeschool nationwide. That in itself is a huge number. So we're still feeling the effects. And there is still transiency in the district because of the effects of COVID, and due to that, we continuously, go down a little bit. It will pause soon. It will stop and then we'll go back up. Erica, can you hear me? Okay. Anyone else have any comments, questions?
Sorry, I
Hi.
can't get it off of safe
Hi.
drive mode. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yep, that doesn't work.
I had a question regarding the first grade class. I'm not sure if I heard that correctly. Did you say that the class sizes were going to be like 28, 29 and something else?
That's what was given to me, yes. And we're not going to do that. We're going to have, instead of the 2 sections, I added a third. So we have 3. So it's going to be 3 first grade classrooms. And the purpose of that is to get strong at the foundation of L'Etoile du Nord. And that is both academically, socially, and numbers wise, because then we'll grow the sections up. So it'll be 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was a little nervous about that. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know how they'll survive it.
I was really nervous when I got the initial budget. I was very nervous when I saw that too. Yes. It's age wise, it's still not, when you get to 2nd grade, they're pretty independent and yet still want to please their teacher. So it's okay-ish. But first, they're not there yet. They really need that one-on-one support. And
Do they take into account like how many first grade students have IEPs and things like that? when they're
nope.
figuring that
And that,
out?
nope. And that's where I need to be really strong with them. And that was part of my, kind of my presentation to the district of you have to look at the needs. You know, a kid's not a kid. You know, they're not all the same. They're not all with the same academic or social needs. We can't just look at mere numbers. It doesn't work. And especially when you're trying to regrow a building,
Mhm.
it didn't make any sense. So I'm really grateful to them for allowing that.
Thank you. We are grateful to you for advocating for our kids. Thank you very much.
That's my job. Thank you. And I love it. I love my job most of the time.
I got a question in the chat. Let's say we get 10 extra kindergartners. Where do the teachers and staff come from? Since we're kind of encouraging enrollment, will we be able to staff?
So try not to get 10, try to get me 20, because if you get 10, it gets really hard.
It would be really hard.
Essentially what happens is if you get numbers, at some point, the district will open up a section, and what that means is they'll open up a position. But to get a section, we got to get about 20. I honestly don't foresee that happening at the kinder level this year. Potentially next, but if we do, right, if we do in a world in which we get enough kids, which is, it has to be over 20, we would add a 4th kindergarten section, which will be amazing. And then we get another teacher.
Thanks.
Yeah, good question. There is a tricky part also with, there is a date, October 1st. That's when we actually look at the enrollment. So it's not necessarily a good thing to get a ton of kids at the end. It sounds good, right? But it doesn't, because essentially I wouldn't be able to open up that section until October 1st. And I think it wouldn't be doing right by kids to move them from their safe person now and their teacher they built relationship with and their friends to another space. So it's not always best, but if it happens, we'll be strategic and hopefully we'll know the trend prior. Yeah, good question. All right, are we moving on to PTO budget?
It's the budget night.
Budget.
Yes.
If anyone thinks of anything else, or if you don't feel comfortable sharing in here, that's completely okay. I want to say my door is always open, and figuratively it is. Literally it's not, because if I'm in a meeting, it's closed, but please come in and talk to me or just call, or best way to get a hold of me is if you email, and text me as well. That works. And I realized I don't have my cell phone number and my signature line, so I will change that soon, so everybody can have it. But please come to me and ask me if you don't feel comfortable, or if you just don't think of something right now, that's okay too.
Thank you so much for all your work on
Thank you.
this. I know
Thank
you've been
you all
working
for
really
supporting
hard.
me.
It feels good to know that we have someone in your job that is putting the kids first always. So thank you.
Thank you. Always kids first. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erica, for the
Oh.
clap. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's kind.
Okay. We have a couple of quick updates, and then so we'll take a small break from budget. Everyone, just kind of take a breath, and then we'll move into the PTO budget. We are so excited, and welcome everyone this evening. Thank you for being here. And we're so excited to have Kermesse back this year. So it's going to be a really fun celebration. It's going to be June 2nd at school, and it's going to be outdoors in the playground and in the gym. So Friday, June 2nd from 4 to 8 p.m. There's going to be food and some silent auction items and games. So it's going to be a fun night for the family. If you are willing or able to volunteer to help us out that night, you can find the link. There is a sign up page all set for you. And there's lots of different ways you can volunteer, and you can find the link on our website. And maybe Malia, maybe you could you put that in our chat for us? And then it's also going to be coming home in a backpack flyer. And I'm pretty sure that Madame Bossard put it in the update. But if not, I'm sure it will be this week. So you can find that a couple different ways. Madame Bossard says, thank you all. Our teachers and leadership team supported this process, and I'm lucky to have them and you all. Thank you. Yeah, so CareMess is going to be great. And we're really looking forward to it. And then tomorrow we have the plant sale pickup. So if you ordered plants last month, the pickup is going to be tomorrow after school, starting at 5 p.m. And Malia, do you have more details about, I think they're still looking for some more volunteers to help unload, but I don't know the exact times.
Yeah,
So-
they are still looking for volunteers if anybody is available. I don't know. I haven't spoken with Rebecca. I don't see her in here.
Didn't see her.
Yeah, but so what happens is the Gertens truck lets her know when they're coming, generally between like 1 and 5 p.m. I think. And so I can put her email address if anybody is available in that time. She will let you know kind of a better idea of when to arrive at school, so you're not just standing there waiting around for a few hours. But it takes like a good few hours to unload the truck, and then what happens is everybody just kind of sorts out the plant orders, and then they're just left available for pickup as families are able to come. But yes, they're still looking for volunteers, and I'll put her contact information here as well, so you can reach out to her.
Perfect.
And Malia, did you say where the location is? We dedicated you know where the drop-off location is between door 1 and 3. That's where, and sorry if you said it, Malia, I might have spaced out.
That's
but
I
it
didn't
will
say
be
it.
right there. Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Just in time for Mother's Day. And then we have Christoph, who has a little bit of an update from the intern committee as well. Is he still here?
Right, yes.
Okay, good.
I'm looking for the button. So mute.
Can never find it when you need it.
Hello, everyone. Bonsoir. So,
Bonsoir.
as Madame Bossard mentioned, the recruitment for the interns for next year went fairly well. We were able to secure host families for 5 interns this year, so 1 less than last year, one intern less than last year. We're not losing hope. We are actually also looking for 1 more intern, so try to match that 6 interns that we have this year with an intern from the Global South. So we have some of the parents in the community that are helping us. So one of them, Mahmoud Fall, has an agency, works in the world of international students and all that, and who has a volunteer to help us out, try to recruit an intern perhaps from Senegal. So that is one option we're looking at. We will also, of course, need on the other side, on the catching side, to have 2 families that will be able to host that intern. So we will need that as well. So we are still looking for interns, host families. So we'll tell you more about it as we have a better understanding of that potential intern from Senegal. So that's mainly the updates. One of the things that we are looking at also is we're trying to see if we can use this one trial for an intern from the Global South to start building it out. So the year after, not next year, but the year after, we have perhaps a half and half, 3 interns from France and 3 interns from other countries around the world. So this one is going to be kind of our test and also a learning curve for us, for all of us. With that, this is more work. So we really, I'm going to be setting up a meeting with the help of Malia, broadcasting an invite for everybody for a meeting on Thursday, May 25th, same hour, 8 o'clock, to form a intern subcommittee dedicated to recruiting. Because right now we have it easy. We just work with the French embassy, and for free, they're just looking, recruiting interns in France, and they're giving those interns in a silver platter to us. So now, as we're looking to diversify our cohort of interns, we'll need to do the work. So with that comes the responsibility from the community, from us, that are asking for that diversified cohort to help and to chip in, to get into it and help us with your contacts, with other ways that we can find, if you know people in countries, say in Central or West Africa, in North Africa, elsewhere, so that we start getting in contact and develop those relationships with perhaps university professors, and that can help us with that recruitment. I study in Martinique, University of Martinique, or Antilles in Martinique, so I already reached out to the French language department for teaching as a foreigner, French as a foreign language department, and so trying to develop a network there and see if we can get people from Martinique, Guadeloupe, from the French Antilles, but also, from, as I mentioned, Central, North, Central, West, South, Madagascar, in the south of Africa, all those areas that we have that potential to diversify our intern cohort. So with that, please stay tuned on the invite, and please connect to help us out, make this possible. If we don't have the bandwidth, our small intern committee is very small. We have Rebecca, that has already her job as the president, Malia, who's already also the communication committee chair, and myself, and also working with Lori. And so we are a very small group, so we need help. And therefore, if we want to diversify this group of interns, we need your help getting involved and making that happen. So that's all I have. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Christophe, for all your work. Christophe has been working very hard.
Christophe, don't
Lots and
forget
lots
to
of
read your
emails.
comments. There's comments in the chat for you, Christophe. Thank you for all your work.
I'm really looking
Thank
forward
you.
to building some relationships so that we can do our recruitment directly. I think that's going to be really exciting for our program moving forward in the next few years. Okay. Back to budget. Now it's my turn to screen share.
Have fun.
Oh, does someone have Jean Nelson Martin? You have a question?
Oui, bonjour, c'est Monsieur Jean. It was just also
Oh, bonjour, monsieur. Monsieur
Bonjour.
Martin.
It was just also to let Christophe know that at my other job at the French Alliance, we also recruited interns from Vietnam. So if you need the contact for interns from Vietnam, I can give you that as well.
Awesome. That would be great. Yes, I would love to have contacts from, I would say, all the French-speaking countries. Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. That's exactly what we need, right? If anyone has contacts, reach out.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Mahmoud.
Hi, Mahmoud.
Yeah, so as Christophe mentioned, I have been running an agency since 2017. Based in Senegal, we work with multiple universities in Senegal. Our office is based in Senegal, but we also work across Africa, like most of the countries, French-speaking Africa. So I will work with you, Christophe, and we'll have a plan at least, because we have a pretty decent network, and we'll have a plan at least, like to set up at least what are the criteria and how we can work about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mahmoud.
Yeah.
Thank you. So if you have any other questions or comments for Christophe, don't hesitate. I'm sure he would say don't hesitate to reach out.
Please do.
And yes, please reach out.
Please.
As he said, we need help. But I'm excited because our community is so amazing, and there's a lot of support from the community. And as you will see here, I will share my screen now. The PTO is very well set up financially to handle the intern program, which is exciting. Hold on. All right, can everyone see? So this is our budget proposal for this year, or for next year. We sent this home in backpack flyers, and we've had it posted on our Facebook page so everyone could take a look. The PTO has a pretty large reserve of funds built up. There's going to be about, well, give or take a few thousand, but there's going to be around $107,000 in the PTO reserves, and that's split between several accounts. There's about 26,000 in our checking account and 35,000 in our savings account, which those accounts are both liquid, so we can pull from those whenever we need funding. We also have some money invested in CDs, which has been really great this year. We have two $20,000 CDs and a $5,000 CD. And just from the interest, it'll be about $1,000 that we get just from the interest on those CDs. And that is going to really help to offset some of our administrative costs for the year. So with that in mind, the board has collaborated to come up with a beautiful budget that you have seen. On the left here, you'll see these are our fundraising goals for next year. So we'll have our donation drive. This $13,500 is about what we raised this year. Corporate matching, and I think this area is going to grow. Been talking a lot with our treasurer about that. And we had a lot. That's a real area for potential. I think a lot of companies have programs that will match your donations to the PTO, whether it be through the fund run or through the direct donation drive. If you check with your company, sometimes you can just apply for those, and reach out if you need help with that, because we can help you and we'd love to. We'll do the fun run again. We'll have Kermesse next spring, and we're looking to add back the fall carnival, which is going to be really fun. That'll be towards the end of October. That's an event that we haven't had since before COVID. So it'll be really fun to get that back in motion and see how that goes. We'll have Spirit Wear, the plant sale, and it just goes on down the list. And then on our expense side, so we're projecting about $55,000 in income, and that'll obviously we're not exactly sure about the fall festival, how much we'll bring in. It could be more. So we just sort of picked a conservative number for now. And then on the expense side, we have 5 interns right now, but we put in the budget to accommodate up to 6, since we have kept that door open to recruit that 6th intern, as Christophe mentioned, from the Global South. And so that is already baked in, and if we find someone, we will be so happy to have them. Let's see. And then we are going to bring back the teacher grant program. That is something that the PTO has always done, and I know the teachers have applied for the grants for like, for example, the garden and the back, musical instruments, programs, or supplies for their classroom, magazine subscriptions, books, those sorts of things. So the teachers will each be able to apply if they have a need or an interest, and the PTO board will review those applications, and then up to $200 per teacher is available. We're looking forward to bringing back the incredible NAPID programming that we had this year, and I know we're going to be building on it as well. So that's really exciting, and we've allowed the budget for that as well. Raising awareness is kind of another word for marketing, and some of those funds will be going to the retention council and just monies to help promote the school. Our administrative costs are includes like our QuickBooks subscription, our filing our taxes. We carry insurance. We have a website fees, those sorts of things. And just a note on the taxes, we've had them done pro bono for the last, as long as I have been on the PTO, by a very generous parent whose child has not been at LNFI for many years, or several years. So last year was his last year doing it pro bono. If you know anyone who would be willing to help us, that would be amazing. The same person who has been doing them pro bono is going to be doing, he agreed to do them again for like a nominal fee, but if we could find someone to do it for free, that would be great too. Then we have field trips and enrichment. So like music programs, cultural programs. We're going to be funding the fee for parent background checks who go on field trips, as well as some money in case scholarships are needed for any of the field trips. And then we are also bringing back the principal's fund. So that will be a discretionary account for Madame Bossard to use, which is truly discretionary, and she can use for what she needs and sees fit.
This is great. No one ever gives me money. So this is so awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yes, it'll be good. I think it's nice that you don't, it's just for you to use for what the building needs most. And then we'll be doing teacher appreciation meals again next year. We're planning for 5 meals, and we'll probably do a mix of catering and probably mostly catering and some potluck maybe thrown in of some on the side. And then the social committee has been busy. Oh my goodness, I'm going to share the calendar in a minute. Lots of social events planned for next year to build our community, to be together again. And a new line item is outreach initiatives. So just looking to reach out into the community, to the public, and share about LNFI. And we'll do a fall beautification day as well. So our projected expenses are just about $65,000. We're projecting a net loss of about $9,500. That's strategic since we do have the large reserve. And obviously we won't want to be doing that every year, but as we're kind of building back up, building numbers up, we wanted to make some investments, especially in marketing and in some of our other programming. So
it's not a loss, it's a deficit. But not
deficit,
a loss.
yes, deficit. No one's losing anything. Some of us may be losing our minds. No, I'm just kidding. Because it's May. Yeah, it's a deficit. But we do have sufficient funds to cover that. And the numbers might change a little bit as the actual fundraising numbers come in and some of the actual expenses come in. So that is our proposal. If you got this everyone should have gotten it in their student backpacks. And it's also on the website, but you can just take a minute if you have time to read through. It just really explains about all the different expenses, programs that we run. where our money comes from, do we have the funding, all of the kind of the FAQs that you might have. At the very bottom are the actuals through May of this year for this current school year. So if you're interested, and you can read on, you can read up on exactly how much we fundraised on this left side, and then how much we spent on the other side. So, and then that will also, it's also a little flexible since we haven't had our kermesse yet. So we'll see how amazingly that does this year in a couple weeks. So we need to vote to approve this budget. So I just wanted to open it up. Does anyone have any questions? And I go away from the screen share so I can read my chat. Does anyone have any questions? Oh. Laura said, thanks so much, PTO, for recognizing and appreciating teachers this week and throughout the year. I know I speak for all teachers that we really appreciate the special meals and treats. And we're so grateful to have amazing parents supporting us. The sidewalk art was really sweet and nicely done. Thank you. Oh, that's Madam Handley, Laura Handley. Thank you, Madam Handley. I know Jessica and Nicole have worked so hard on the teacher appreciation events this week, and I'm telling you, I've never seen that many kids at the chalk drawing as I saw last night. It was so fun. The sidewalks were covered in no time, and all the snacks were gone in no time. All right, Madame Friedrich, she says, why not spend less for NAPID and spend a little to celebrate the other cultures represented at LNFI, like Cinco de Mayo or Chinese New Year, for example? That's a fabulous idea. So, I guess in my mind, it's not like an and or, but we're always looking to expand. So if you have any ideas like that, please bring them to us, because we love those ideas. And we would definitely love to celebrate other cultures as well.
They will
And
do that in a BIPOC group. The BIPOC group will do that.
mm-hmm. Yes, Erica has been, maybe you want to tell them a little bit about that. Thinking about starting like a
So
support group.
myself and Malia will be working on a BIPOC group. We have the support from Madame Bussard, and that will be encompassing and celebrating all cultures and things. We just have to get some language down in paperwork, but it is already on the go, and that's the BIPOC support group is designed to do. Celebrate all cultures, help with cultural humility, and just cultural awareness.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Madame Friedrich. That's an excellent question. And we are definitely looking for ways to do that. Yes, Madame Chofa says PTO is working on celebrating all cultures and everything has a beginning. So yes, it's really exciting after a few years of not really doing much of anything at all to be able to kind of build this back as exactly what we want with input from the community. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess sorry, I didn't tell. BIPOC means I didn't tell everybody about that, but BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. That's what the BIPOC stands for. Sorry.
Thank you, Erica. Okay. Yes, and another comment, don't see why we need to spend less on NAPID in order to celebrate others. So, we'll always look, and as we grow, the budget will reflect that as well next year, to include maybe the other cultural celebrations that we'll be planning. So it's exciting.
Maybe I can chime in here really quick too. I forgot to present during my budget piece. We wrote a grant for 10,000. It's representative of our belief of who we are, and it is multiculturalism, embracing all cultures, always knowing race plus, and encompassing kind of what everybody brings, and we are hopeful to get that money. I don't know yet if we have it. I'm hopeful. We wrote a pretty strong grant, and what that money will be utilized is for dancing and music and potentially drumming, and that would be from different cultures too. So we will have that for kids. It's an enrichment opportunity. And they'll be coming to us to do that programming as long as we get to $10,000. So I will let you all know once we have that. So that kind of feeds into another budget fund. Yep.
That's exciting. Yes, and Mishu says the best is on the way for NAPID and the van for the community. Okay. I love our global campus. I love our global campus too, Erica. It's a really incredible place to send our kids. And Madame Bossard, I hope since you're inside, that means your kids are asleep.
Oh, they are.
All
All 4 of them.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I think the big kids asleep now too.
Everyone in the house but mom.
Yeah. Alone
Okay.
time.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna vote on our budget. And as if you've been to other meetings, you've seen how this works. There will be a little screen that pops up. It will give you a choice to mark yes or no. Yes, if you vote to approve the budget. No, if you do not want to approve the budget. Please, you have 60 seconds to put in your answer, so don't delay. Just mark what you're thinking, and then it takes I can't remember how long, 1 or 2 minutes, and then it will pop the results up on everyone's screen, so we'll be able to see right away whether or not this passed, and then we'll go on from there. So Malia, whenever you're ready, cue the poll. And now we can just chit chat.
I have a question because I saw in there, someone had put, why would we need to take away from the NAPID budget to substitute to celebrate other things? Did they hear that wrong? I didn't hear it. But did they get that right? Are we considering that, or I didn't
No, I think no. Well, I mean, in my mind, it's kind of expanding and not taking away. I mean, if we're going to celebrate other cultures, I think we would expand and have more budget line items. So, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. We've had so much support for the PTO this year, and our budget passed with 100% approval. So that means a lot to us. Okay. Phew. Did you feel relieved after your budget presentation too, Madame Bossard? I'm just kidding. Okay. And then
No, I still want more money from the district. So
Oh.
I'm not necessarily relieved.
Oh man. We've also been working on our calendar. We haven't finalized it just yet, but I will pop it up for just to run through. Here we go, real quick. So this year we're working on planning ahead, and we will be adding a lot more social events, which is really exciting. Ooh, hold on. Okay, here we go. So this is just our rough draft still, and we'll be working with Madame Bossard and the school to finalize some of these dates, and then we'll be getting this out to the community. So some things to look forward to for next year. We have added a lot of social events, an ice cream social at open house. We'll do the beautification day. Social committee, Jessica and Nicole are amazing, and they are going to be facilitating an open gym time every month and a craft or activity night that has a theme every month. And we've also added in a lot of different appreciation days for the different, all the different staff, important staff in our building who work so hard for us and for our kids. And so then we will also be holding our general meetings. The first meeting will be on the third Thursday of the month because the second Thursday is always just so close to the start of the school year. And we're hoping to do our first one in person just to meet everyone. And then we're thinking we'll probably stay virtual. But the discussion is still ongoing. So if you have feelings, just email us. And let's see what other highlights. The book fair appreciation meals, will be doing spirit gear again. We are going to be doing a host family recruitment again, a big push in January so that we can be ready with our host family numbers in time for recruitment and just be stable with those. And a huge thank you to everyone who signed up to host because that really makes the intern program possible. We're adding the Scholastic Canada, so book orders in French. Malia has been working on that. She's amazing, obviously. In February, we'll have our NAPID programming again. And I know Shu is going to be working, I think she's worked so hard on that this year, and she's going to be expanding it next year. So that's going to be really amazing. And the fun run is going to be moved to March. And what else? This is now very far ahead into the future. Now we're to next May, which just looks as busy as this May. Let's see. So yeah, we'll have Kermesse again next year. And like I said, we're hoping to bring back a fall festival. So that's just a brief overview of our calendar for the year. And we're always looking for input. So email us, reach out, and we want to do the events that you want to do. But I'm excited to be able to get together more next year. So that's our calendar, our rough draft. Let's see. Oh, and our last but probably most important item of business. We had a volunteer to fill the treasurer spot at our last meeting. And we are so grateful to Ibi Lola for stepping up and volunteering for that job. It is an important job for the PTO, and we're really excited to get to know you more. And I know I saw you earlier at the meeting. Yes, you're here. So Ibi Lola, if you want to just take a minute and share a little bit about yourself and say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Ibi Lola. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir tout le monde. I'm Ibi Lola. I'm from West Africa, Benin. Benin is between Nigeria and Togo. And I have a daughter. Her name is Jade, a lovely daughter, and she's in 2nd grade. I'm currently quality insurance manager at Old Dutch Food. And I'm so happy to be here, to be with PTO, to learn more about PTO, and as well, I'm willing to help with the finance and contribute to the diversity, equity, and inclusivity.
Thank you so much. So the treasurer is an officer position on the board, so we'll hold a quick vote. The procedure will be the exact same as for the budget. So when the screen pops up, you have about 60 seconds to vote.
Can I ask a question before
Yes.
we do that? Hi, Ibriola, and thank you for stepping up. This is Erica Scott, and I just had a quick question. Have you done anything like this before? Do you have any experience in with Treasury?
Back home, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we it's not a large, super large sum of money, but there are a lot of moving pieces. So we really appreciate having someone. And the treasurer also, takes care of a lot of our registrations for us. So our nonprofit status with the state and the taxes and those sorts of things. So.
Can you expand on what that experience back home with being a treasurer includes?
I think that question was for you, Ibilola.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Madam Hanley was just asking if you could expand a little bit on your experience back home.
Yes, I was part of a community back home, and I was the treasurer for 2 years.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? Okay. I think we're ready for the poll. So whenever you're ready, Malia. Thank heavens for Malia, right? She knows how to run the polls. Man, it's already 9:20. Every time I think we're gonna make it in the hour. I don't know why I think that.
We might need to change the general PTO meeting to an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is it always was an hour and a half before this year. And in the fall, we were like, we can do it. We're gonna go down to an hour. I don't know if we can do it. Done it yet? I don't know.
So while we're waiting, I have one announcement also to make. I was not given the authorization to make it, but I'll make it anyway. So there's a science fair that Madame Bissot is organizing for, if I remember correctly, in a couple of weeks. I think it's May 25th, and she's looking for judges. So if I know a couple of you here, I can see faces, have been recruited as judges. If you have an experience as an engineer, as a scientist, a nurse, please go ahead and connect with Madame Bissot and to provide feedback to the kids and inspire them to become, to build their STEM careers.
Thank you, Christophe. It's gonna be fun.
It was in the principal's newsletter too.
Okay.
And if you didn't read it, it's in there.
We all read it. Congratulations, Ibilola, and welcome to the board. We're very thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's the last item on my agenda. And this is our last PTO general meeting for the year. So the board will still be working over the summer. And we will hopefully see you again in the fall. Like I said, it'll be the third Thursday in person. And we are, Madame Friedrich. Awesome. Okay. I just want to take a minute before we end really quick to just thank everyone who participated in PTO this year in any way. So it's been an incredible year. Thank you to all the people who have been at the meetings, who have shared your thoughts and helped us to improve and grow and made all of our events possible, all of the volunteers, everyone who gave financially. The support for the PTO this year has been just overwhelming, and all of us are so grateful. So thank you. And if we have been virtual this year, so if you are at Kermesse, please come say hi at the PTO table. Come say hi to us in person and meet us in person. Or at open house in the fall, we'll also have a PTO table there as well. So and in the meantime, reach out to us if you have anything at all that you'd like to share with us, with the board. Does anyone else have any other comments? I'll wrap up. Time to wrap up. All right. In the meantime, until we see you again, everyone take care of yourselves and raise those kids. Take care of the kids.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that
Thank
an
you so much.
option, Rebecca?
What?
Is that optional? Do I have to raise them
You
daily?
have to.
Or may I check out?
Every day. As my pediatrician says, just focus on keeping everyone alive.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
sound advice.
I mean, that's
It's
true.
an option for everybody except for you. It's not an option for you. You the captain of the ship.
Oh,
You
no,
got-
no, 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 not at work. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I am keeping your kids happy and learning. I
know
mean, my
you
own.
are. I know you
I'm just
are.
talking about my own. I know Laura's like, oh God. I'm just thinking, can I check out of parenting sometimes if they're alive?
That's everybody.
Not your kids,
You only
okay.
get one day for that to do
Yes.
that. You only get one day. You can't call in sick or none of that.
Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh.
Not
One
for work.
day a year, just one day a year, Sophia. One day. That's all you get.
I know.
And it's Sunday.
Yep.
Our day is
But
coming.
you
No,
got
Sundays
14
are
more-
rough.
you
That is
got
not
16 more
Sunday.
years
I mean,
about-
Mother's Day. Mother's Day.
No, that doesn't
No, we
happen
still are
either.
working. Yeah.
Bonne
You
nuit,
got
Madame
14
Henley.
more years of
Mama
that.
Henley.
14 more years, because your baby will be 14 and
God,
yeah. That's when they
don't
start
say
checking
that.
out.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's making me tired. I'm going to bed, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good
for
Au
listening.
revoir, Madame
revoir.
Bossard. Merci beaucoup.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir.
Oui, merci, Madame Trevor. Au revoir, tout le monde. Merci.
Qui est une
Bonne soirée,
bagarreuse?
bye bye.
Bonne soirée,
beaucoup.
Biola.
Bonne
C'est
soirée.
Ibi Lola, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, Ibi Lola ou bien Lola simplement.
Bienvenue
Merci.
Bienvenue.
à Pétélo.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Merci,
Au
bye bye.
revoir.
Oui.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.